While we're waiting for people to join, I might just run a few polls just to ask some questions of the audience. Can see a few names I recognise and others that I don't. That's awesome. So firstly, let me just start this poll. Feel free to answer as you wish. Last sort of few chances to answer this poll. So feel free, those who are joining, we're just going to do a few polls while we're waiting for people to join before I start the meeting. So feel free to answer that. And we'll do another one in a second. Last few seconds. Okay. Awesome. So we've got quite a few RTOs here. Those who are not, don't worry. We'll definitely doing it based on a unit of competency, but don't stress. You'll be able to just enter your own text and add your own documents. So don't stress. I'll show you how that works as well. I'll one more, two more questions. Feel free to answer those as everyone's joining. Hi everyone who's joining. We're just doing a few polls while we're waiting for others to join. Nice. We've got a good cross section of experience. That's good to see. It works for all types, those who haven't done too much course creation and those who've done lots. You should be excited about a tool that can save you time. All right. I'll just last couple of seconds for this one, and then we'll do one more. So we'll talk about international. End this poll now. That's awesome. And the last question, I want to check about how many people we have from overseas. Oh, that's awesome news. Okay, so we've got a few people planning to deliver both. Okay, we will show you some, obviously based in Australia, but we have a lot of international clients that use our product, so I can show you both. It's like we've got a good cross section of people joining today. All right, we'll hold this for another couple of seconds, 20 seconds, and then we'll get a start on this. All right, share the results. Last chance. Okay. Looks like we have a good amount of people in the Australian market, but also there's some people delivering overseas and both. So that's awesome news. Let's close the polls and let's get started. Hello and welcome. This is the AI Course Creator webinar. We're going to create some courses really quickly. And so I hope to share with you some solutions to that. Let me move on. So my name's Mark. I'm the Business Development Manager here at eSkilled, and I've been working with Australian RTOs for some time, but also lots of different sorts of training organisations doing doing training, whether it's overseas or in Australia. We have both student learning management systems, and we also have resources. We supply resources as well. So we come from a pretty good base of training. Um, eSkilled, but this webinar is on the AI course creator. So we have a tool that's going to help you create some courses really quickly, and hopefully, and you'll be able to use that in any LMS system. So let's go through what we're going to talk about today. So what is AI course creator? How does it work? We're going to do a demonstration, create a course. We're going to create a fairly simple unit of competency course, but just know that you'll be able to just use that for any sort of course, not just a unit of competency. We're going to use our new Nano Banana tool for image gen, and this sort of represents a revolution in the product. It's going to provide you a very significant improvement on what you've been doing in the past, and hopefully get you a lot more along the way. AI hasn't been able to get us a long way along this process, but we're going to show you a tool that does. We're going to show you how to edit the course, how to share the course, you know, themes that it'll help you create your own themes, and then of course, how much does it cost? So firstly, what is AI Course Creator? So what it is a e-learning authoring tool. So we're going to create some e-learning files. It's efficient and engaging course creation. It's an easy document conversion tool. It's user-friendly interface. You do not need a degree to operate this, but it does, you know, practice makes perfect on this, of course. AI assisted editing. We do rich media and interactive learning, not just sort of just is the course. And it will integrate with any LMS system. Now, when I say any, the majority, the 99% of LMS systems that have the ability to upload a SCORM file. So that and or LTI compatibility. So yeah. How does it work and how are we different? So we have an instructional design team that has built, has helped build this tool. So and they use it as well to create courses in our resource brand. We use a tell, show, do methodology. So we provide content, practical example case studies or scenarios, and we have a short quiz, formative quiz at the end of each subtopic. So yeah, tell, show, do. We should be able to speed up your design process, and it also gives you the ability to create really beautiful things. It structures the course, and this is the evolution that we're dealing with right now. It'll structure the course with images and flip cards built into the overall design. So it will actually build you a fully structured course, not just give you some text and then you have to pretty it up. That being said, you may still do some little touches here and there, and obviously, being that it's AI generated, you'll want to, have a look at the content and make sure it meets your guidelines. It's definitely something you have to do. And the last thing it does is publish into an interactive SCORM output and or connect to your LMS system via a system called LTI, and I'll explain that. Now, before we get into too much of the practical demonstration side, I wanted to just let everyone know that if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in that section and I will get to answer them. You're not going to see people's questions. I'll try and read them out as we go. And as we're doing the practical demonstration, I like to answer the questions as we go. So if I can't get to it though, we will definitely answer it afterwards. That being said, I think we should be able to. I've done this a few times. All right, so next thing. Practical demo time. So when you jump into this system, it is a portal. Okay, so it is your own portal into the AI tool. So you will have your own, what we call subdomain up the top here, and you will log in and you'll be able to develop your own courses. It's not a system where you can see everyone else's courses. It's not designed for that. It's designed so you can have your own space to deliver, to build your courses. Now, when I create a course, I've actually done a little bit of pre-work so that it makes the process, you don't have to watch me typing out prompts. I've done a little bit of pre-work to start the course. When I hit create course here, it opens up the first step and you start to type in prompts to generate text. Now, before I get into the prompts though, there are two different types, course creation types. Firstly, if you have a learner guide where you are happy with the text and you don't want to regenerate using AI, you just want to get your learner guide and you get the tool to actually build it into an e-learning file for you. This system will do that. You just go to course creation type of document conversion. If I go to document conversion, it'll be your text, but in an e-learning file, right? And it'll even bring in images and everything. Links will turn into video, embedded videos, that sort of thing. So very, very cool. But what I'm going to show you mostly today is the creative type, because this is where the tool becomes really powerful. Now, both of these types work really well in terms of getting you an output, but we also, after the fact, so if you have your course document conversion and you want to edit some information from the document, I would still get you to prompt the AI so that when you go to edit later, you're then you've already prompted it, so it will relate that back to the prompts, not just the text you're generating for. Okay, so yeah, just do that. Creative, we're going to go with creative though. Now, I have saved in a unit of competency. It's a very simple unit, obviously, because we don't want to spend too much time in generating. So it's a smaller unit of competency. Just know though that it will deal with any size unit of competency and it will also do non-accredited. So in the space where I would use unit codes and things like that for an accredited unit of competency, you would just type general language and that will still get you a really beautiful output. You'd be very surprised. Okay, so firstly, the course name obviously is obvious. Just type in what you call it. Describe your course audience. Now, this is where you put in who you're delivering to. Now, I would go to the lowest denominator of the courses that you're dealing with. In this scenario, it's any student completing, I've put in any student completing a hospitality course in Queensland, concentrate on lower socioeconomic, um, socioeconomic adults. Then, but you can put in lots of detail there. If you want to do job descriptions or, different levels, you can do that. Describe your course in detail. So I've put the unit code in here. So this is, and then I've said as part of a cert in hospitality, right? So I've gone beyond just giving the unit. I want to sort of give some sort of context to the course other than just the unit. Um, you know, it doesn't have to be a lot of text, but describe it pretty well in detail. The next step here is curriculum or reference documents. So this is the one of the coolest things about this tool is you can add documents from anywhere. And so firstly, if you're doing a unit of competency, you can add the unit in. Now, I actually have a unit of competency from that I downloaded from training.gov. So that'll give you, that's going to do a good job of knowing what it needs to deliver, and it will structure the course as such. It's not going to always do it exactly as elements and performance criteria, but it should cover all the topics within that, but structure the course nicely, because obviously they can be quite ambiguous, those things. So this will help structure a really nice course for that. Next step. Now, you can add multiple documents here. You can add curriculum documents, learner resources. So if you're wanting to structure a course that's not accredited, you might want to develop, jump into another AI tool, and just prompt it and ask it to generate you a course outline or a of curriculum document for a particular type of course so that it can get some sort of context for how it delivers. Of course, it's going to do a great job anyway, but it'll help. Any sort of things that you can add to this will help in terms of generation. You can even put in things like laws and industry-specific standards, software manuals, all sorts of things. HR documents, policies and procedures. Um, so very cool tool, and you get up to 500,000 characters. I've only used 8,000 characters, so we've got a lot of room to add different ones. Of course, the more prompting and things you add, the more generation credits you'll use, and I'll get into how the generation credits you use later. All right? The next step 2 is really about context. Right. So what we're going to do is first step is how much text do you want? Right. I can go a really comprehensive course if I want, with lots of text. Or I can go a standard or focused. Even a standard's going to give you quite a lot of text. You'd be surprised how much text you'll get. I'd almost move to focus, but I'm going to do standard for now. The next thing is reading level. Now, I know that because there's a lot of Australian RTO people here, I imagine that you're used to the AC or AQF levels of study. It's not going to relate back to those because it's an international software, right? So what we're going to do is based on a reading level. So a reading level, starts from 5-year-old. Very easy is like a 5-year-old language, right up to difficult, which is university graduate level. So you can sort of imagine where your students would sit. I'm going to do standard here because I think it's really relevant for this space. Because remember, it's reading age, not actual age. Now, language. In language here, we have English UK, but you'll note that there is up to 96 different languages to choose from. Actually, I think there might even be a few more now to choose from. So if you have people from, you want to train people in China, you can do Chinese Mandarin. If you have people, or any sort of language, you can train it on. You'd be surprised what languages are in there. If anyone has any questions or wants to ask a specific language, I'm happy to help there. Tone of voice. It goes. So what I mean by tone of voice is the tone of the language, right? So is the language going to be? Is the text going to be in a professional or casual or encouraging format? Right? Sorry, Kylie. Kylie asks, can you change the delivery language once the course is created? That's a very interesting question. So what I would recommend that you do if you want to, it's not going to change the language. The reason being is it's generating in a different language. It's not actually translating anything. Okay. So it's important to understand the difference in that. What that means though is you could duplicate it, edit the settings of the course, and then regenerate that course in another language. So you can use it to help with other languages, absolutely. So have a very similar course, but it's going to be regenerated with language and country context. That's something to take into consideration. Um, so I'm doing casual for tone of voice. The last step here, or second last step, is country context. So obviously we've got Australia here. Just know that it's going to default to your to your country that you choose. Up the top here, you've got all the different languages in terms of the output of the course, and of course, you've put in your country when you sign up. So it'll do your country, not necessarily my country. Now, this is really important. I'll give you an example of how this is important. So I did a course for retail workers in New Zealand at an instructional design conference. Um, it was just a retail workers course, but it was for New Zealand, and it brought in cultural greetings from New Zealand. So something that's really important to New Zealand culture is greetings in different languages. So this is how you would be able to do that. And the last step here is in terms of other contextual considerations. So this will give you a lot of place to type sort of other contexts, industry, social, political, whatever sort of context you want to add, even down to, state-based requirements. So if I'm doing a course in Queensland, which I've said that I am, then I'm going to reference the Queensland context. But yeah, you can do any state context there, and even down to local context, and regional context. So course context, next. So 3 is course settings. Okay, so this is really just how does it look, right, and how does it act in terms of how the folder structure works. So when you put it in a category, you can search by category when you're searching your course. That's a way to create different categories there, and you can create your own categories, FYI. Topic navigation, I've put free here, but there's also linear. So linear gives you the option to create so that you have to progress through the subtopics in order. So if I do the first topic, I have to complete the first topic before I can move on to the second, and so on and so forth. So for this demo, I'm just doing free just so you can sort of see the course. I'm going to add learning objectives. That just gives me a bit of a title page, and I'm going to include case studies, right? Relevant to the industry. And I've also made note in my course context that we're doing a restaurant. That's something to note here. And then select course theme. We have some built-in themes for you, but you can customize your own themes and add your own logos and fonts and images and everything. So that's all built in there. We'll move on to next. Step 4, quiz settings. So just note here, it's formative assessment only. So this is, I'm sure I'm going to get some questions on this. So these quizzes are really just going to give you a formative quiz on topics on these topics. It's going to be true, false, single multiple choice, or a combination of true, false, single multiple choice, fill in the blanks, and matching. So I like to do them all. Let's throw them all in there. Why not? And then there's sort of navigation things, number of choices, select maximum number of quiz questions, quiz question navigation type. So do I want to allow them to progress on the wrong answer so I can get an output of a a result other than 100%, so you can do that too. And then require quiz attempt for course completion. If that makes sense. If I want people to be able to progress without the quiz, then we can do that. Right? Now at this point, I'm going to hit generate. Now this AI tool is, you can obviously generate your outline manually if you choose, but if you go to quick generation via AI, it's going to do a really good job, and then you can edit it. So you don't have to worry about AI producing the outline for you, because you can always edit it later. All right. If you want to type it in yourself, you're obviously welcome. Will it? So Makita asked about mapping. So no, this tool will not do mapping for you. It will not. It will not automatically. It'll do a good job of mapping to the unit of competency, because I've put the unit of competency in there. But it's not going to be pre-mapped. You're not going to see a mapping file with what it's mapped to. You're going to have to manually map that, right? But when I would say most of my clients, when they're going through the course and checking that it's met all the guidelines of the course, that's when they do their own mapping there. They'll map it themselves manually. Now, being that it's only formative assessments, your formative assessments, there's no requirement from our score to map formative assessments. Obviously, there are plenty of people that do like to map it, so you feel free to map those questions and that content to your unit. Just know it's not going to do it for you. Hopefully that answers that question, Akita. All right, so this should almost be done in a second, and then we'll hit generate. It'll take a little while to generate. So while we're doing that, I've got a whole lot of things I want to show you while we're waiting, and hopefully get through it all, because we've only got 35 more minutes of the session. So I want to make sure I get through everything. But yeah, still definitely ask questions as we go. We're putting on some final touches. It shouldn't take too much longer. If let me flick over while we're waiting. I'll flick over to an example course. Now, we generated this course. We prompted it, of course, but that's all we did. We haven't actually edited anything on this course. We haven't prettied it up or done anything like that. So just know that. So start course. You'll see here. It's you might be familiar with this design. It's very similar to your Articulate Rise design. Note there. But yeah, so that's the learning objectives. It sort of gives a little prompt for each of the topics that we're going to talk about. When I jump into the course, you'll notice it's doing things like accordions, and it's adding images and referencing them. It's putting in flip cards. I like to pretty up my flip cards and put images behind the text. You can do that. But yeah, it's going to generate it without that for now. Next. Yeah, so you can see very clearly it's bringing in a beautiful design theme. It's adding images. Notice that's the one big revolution in the way AI has generated images, is that it used to be that you couldn't add text to images. It has been really complicated and difficult, and you often get gobbledygook or things are in the wrong order. You'll find that it does a very good job now of it does a very good job. I've got a hand up. Now, if you want to ask a question, Elizabeth, feel free to type into the little question mark on the top right-hand corner, and I'll happily answer that as we go. Sorry, Elizabeth. I'll keep going while we're waiting for your question, and I'll happily answer that. That's just an example. You can see the quiz is pretty straightforward. I can move on to the next one. I've allowed progression on the wrong answer in this one, you can see. Select all answers that apply, so pretty cool. Looking design. Let's jump back into our course. Yay, we've created our outline. We've got quite a lot of subtopics here. I thought that it might be a little bit less than this, but what I might do is just in reality, it needs to map to all the unit competency. So you won't want to do what I'm about to do. Maybe even you'll add more in, but I just so that we can produce this fairly quickly, I'm just going to cut away some of the subtopics for these courses, just to, obviously that's not going to give you a complete unit, but just so that we can get this done pretty quickly. Okay, Elizabeth's asked the question. Am I able to theme the course to match my business logo? Yes, Elizabeth. Well, I'll show you some course themes in a second. When we start to generate this course, I'll show you how to edit and create your own themes. So you'll be able to do that, absolutely. And another Elizabeth, or Liz, this one, Liz has asked, does AI create the images automatically, or do I need to search the library? That's another thing that's very exciting about today. It will create the images automatically, and then you can edit them. So you can do both. And we also have free image libraries as well. I'll show you that when we get into editing. There's also AI image gen as well. So you can create your own AI image gens. You'll get a certain amount of those in each type of package. So that's something to note. Oh, lots more questions. Okay, Julia's asked, can you output the quiz grades to an Excel file? That's okay. So Julia, that's something to note here. This is creating the course. It is not giving you an output for students yet. You have to put it through an LMS system to get an output. All right. So when you have students complete the course, it has to go through an LMS, learning management. So you'll need to have a separate bit of software for that. This is going to create the course. Simon, hopefully I've answered these questions. Sorry, Liz has asked, is this a new feature in terms of the image generation? And the answer is yes. This has just come out. And the reason for that is because image gen with AI hasn't been fantastic. And now it is. AI image gen has gone to a new level. So we have now been able to create the course in its entirety with images, and it even references images as well. So that's something to note. Simon asks, does the software add creations such as text, images, charts automatically? Yes. Yes, Simon, it will do all of those things. Hold on, sorry. Taken from somewhere, a blend of taken and generated, and who owns the IP? Okay, so to answer, that's a lot of questions in one question, Simon. So AI is generating you content using the AI tools are doing machine learning to bring in the content, and then it's a language model. Now the language model generates the text. So that so it is it is your IP, and it is generated using this tool. So it is not something that needs to be copyrighted or anything like that. You may go and do your own little references if you choose, as in you know that this is from this certain thing, you can reference it, but it is generating using AI. So that's something to know. Elizabeth asks, and once I create a course, am I able to download it and embed it into a website, or do I have to leave the course on your site and link it to a course on the platform? Okay, so that's another very good question, Elizabeth. So it will actually, so generally people will use an LMS so that you get actual answers. So students can come in and do the course, right? We can embed a preview link into a website. So you've got like an iframe code you can copy and it'll put onto a website. I'll go through this a little bit later, so you can understand what I mean about adding it to a system, and then so that you can get students progress through it. Okay, more questions. Liz, do we need to redo our courses then? Oh, well, that's up to you, Liz. I'm sure that you've done a really good job of prettying them up, but yeah, it's up to you. You can redo them if you choose. Up to you. Um, Michelle, how many AI image gen are included in the packages? I'll talk through the packages later and what's included in each so that you can get an idea. Just know that anything generated at the starting point, actually, I'm going to hit generate just so that it starts the generation. So I don't miss showing you the course. Sorry, to answer that question, I will show you the pricing and what comes with all the packages a little bit later. Okay. All right. I think I've answered all the questions now. If I haven't, please put your hand up. Oh, one more. Can you generate a hard copy version or distance I think you mean for distance learning? Nicole asks. So at this stage, it is an e-learning file. So no, but you could copy the text into a Word document. You could copy copy text and pictures as you please, so that you can generate something that's a hard copy if you need to. Okay, let's move on. My little ebot's generating his course. You'll notice he painted before when he was doing his generating the topics. He's now cooking. He's cooking up. He's preparing the ingredients at the moment, so he's just putting his hat on. But he'll start cooking and doing some stuff as we go. While we're waiting, I might just jump into the theme. So to theme the courses, obviously we give you a bunch of options for themes by default, but you can actually, hold on, I've got one more question, just checking. So if I upload the curriculum I want the course to use in my course, it can use this to create the course. Yes, Elizabeth, it can do that 100%. Use that as a curriculum, a course, what was it? Curriculum reference document, I think, in the uploads. There'll be a document upload for that. Yes. So in terms of themes, you can customize your own themes. You can create your own themes, and you can edit them. Sometimes it's good to edit because there's lots of things already sort of pre-done when you edit it, and then you're just editing it. But if I'm editing this theme, you'll notice that there's a theme style. So there's one of 6 different styles that you can throw in there. That's sort of how the order of the structure of the start button and things like that, and how the completion page looks, and so on and so forth. All right. This is a particular category type of theme. This is an early learning type. So you'll notice that, you've got an early learning image. One of the things that, so in terms of the revolution I was talking to you guys about with image generation being just automatically happening in the system, which is really awesome. One of the things we realized that we forgot, and we're just going to add in the next sort of couple of weeks, is that it doesn't actually generate you the image for the title page. But good news, when you jump into any of the title page sections, and I'll show you that in the edit mode, you can always just, I'm replacing the image in the theme here, but I can do it from the actual course itself. You can just jump and replace the image with something else, and you can use AI to do so. I'll show you that in a bit when we go into editing. But yeah, theme, cover page. How does the cover page look? You know, even down to the graduation of the start button colors. Quite 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 structured there. Completion page. That's obviously a horrible completion page. Probably edit that one. I'll do that now. I'll add an image for early learning for this one. Browse free image libraries. Early learning. Oh, well, we got two different ones, pixels and unslashed. I'm going to add early learning from that one. Great. I'm going to save that. All right. Course banner. Oh, oops. I just jumped out of it. Apologies, guys. Course banner. So you got banners and text and banner icons for different things. You'll see little icons there. You can't really see it. It's really hard to see because it's a PNG file, but you can sort of have like little icons that pop up as well. Course builder. So this will give you a lot of interactive, like a lot of settings in terms of interaction or image settings, like how many the curve of the thing, the OPC, all those things. Table settings, interactive activities. So we've added a hotspot icon of a pointer, but there's so many options for that. Like if I go, there's also a bunch of default ones that I can choose from. Lots there, and obviously flip cards and interactive and hotspots and everything. You'll notice how the hotspot looks. Content padding, so you can see very clearly it's doing lots of things. And then obviously the previews. That's the little things on the side. The preview topics and subtopics, and buttons and hamburger menus and everything. Rod Hill asks, with my existing courses that I've created, will I need to redo them, take advantage of the new AI image gen? Um, guys, a couple, two of you have asked this question. I don't think you need to. If you've generated something and you've added in images using stock images, that's going to be a good outcome anyway. If it looks great, then do it. I would say if you don't like it and you want to make it prettier, yeah, by all means redo it. But it's up to you. Up to you. There. I don't think you need to. Elizabeth asks, you mentioned that it can embed formative assessment. However, if I'm designing a course, I use formative assessment to check for learning for the student so that they can reflect and correct. However, at the end, I would want a summative assessment. Are you saying that we can't embed this? If I create this summative assessment, because I may want to give the customer a certificate to show they've completed course successfully. Yeah. So again, this is just providing you a bit of content and formative assessment. In your learning management system, you would be doing this summative assessment. In there, you have lots of other types of summative assessments. Of course, you're not going to be able to get a full unit of competency without doing some practical observations, things like that. So you're going to want to do that in your LMS system, right? This is one form of formative assessment as well. You may decide to add in other things like H5Ps or interactive activities or scenarios or things like that. So I would suggest you use an LMS system. If you don't have one, we can talk to you about that after, and I can take you through our LMS system and show you how it can really benefit your organization. So if you do not have one, I would recommend definitely getting one, and we can look at packages and things too. So all good there. So yeah, lots of options for banners and course headings and all sorts. So that's something to note in the themes. All right, how are we going with the course creation? Oh, it's done. That was quick. Awesome news. So this course is now, you'll notice that they have an estimated completion. So in the what, 5 minutes it took us to create this course, we're going to have a course that will be good for 5.883 hours. That's an estimate, of course, but it's going to do a really good job of giving you a really structured course, right? But now we can go into AI assisted editing. Really exciting. So if I jump, firstly, learning objectives, you can see they're the accordion. So this is the top accordion, this is the below one. Actually, you know what I might do, just to see how good it is, just off the bat. I'm just going to do a preview so you can have a look. This is obviously a live demo, guys, so just bear with me here. Hopefully it's all good. Learning objectives, that's the accordions we talked about. Hazard identification, safe work practices, and this. Very cool. Lots of text. This is standard. You can see each subtopic is quite complex. And it's, see how it references the images? That hopefully that gives you a. And Nicole asked, how does this program work with AI detectors for plagiarism detection? Okay, so I would ask the question here, how would it need to do plagiarism detection? So in terms, this is generating you a course, and it's going to give you self-marking questions. So there's no assessor marked questions that would require a plagiarism detection tool. So you put that into your learning management system, Nicole. I would recommend doing that because mostly it's formative assessment anyway, right? So you probably want plagiarism detection for summative assessment anyway. Yeah, this is an AI tool that's going to help you create courses, right? You're still going to be having to review it, right? You're going to have to look at the text, but it's going to get you a good portion of the way there. You've noticed it's almost 90% of the way there, I would say. In previous months of this system use, um, I would have said 70 or 80%. It's almost 90% of the way there. It's getting you very close to an output file that's going to work really well with your system. Hopefully, I've blown some minds here, just just showing that, blown your mind. Um, yeah, very cool tool. Now, I'm going to add some extra little interactions that don't come with your standard. Right? So let me just jump into one of these courses. I want to show you how. Hold on, let's go. I don't like that one to add it in. That's all right. We'll just add it in anyway. I'm imagining maybe I want to turn one of these flip cards into a hotspot instead of flip cards, but it's up to you. I'm going to throw in. Let's do that. Right. To do that, I can go. Interactive activities hotspot single column. Drop that in there. Right. Now this is cool because I want to show you image gen as well. So I can actually go add image and I can generate image via AI. I've actually done up a bit of a prompt for that. So I might do this in the theme as well. Generate image via AI, photo. I want to do a square one, and I'm gonna go this. So I've just generated it using a prompt AI like Gemini. I just jumped into Gemini and typed it in what I wanted, and it's generated me a prompt. Right, so I'm going to generate AI, and it will generate me an image using AI. Now, again, each version of this, each level of this package will have their own amount of AI image generations you get each month, right? And I'll explain that. So this is image gens outside of the standard that it produces, right? Beautiful. That looks good. I like that. Use image. Now remember, if I was to, this is a hotspot, so I'm going to show you how hotspots work. If I was going to, um, every time I regenerate that, it's going to be a totally different image. Even though it's going to be very similar, it's going to be a different image. Just pop in a bit of text, just to drop that we did before. Of course, you can drag and drop these ones too. I probably should have done that. Drag that one up. Never mind. All right, click the hotspots. You'll notice there's a heading there, and I can edit that. So what I'm going to do is grab one that says emergency, edit, type in emergency, right, and then just dump it in. So, in the text. Right. Now I want a hotspot image. So I'm going to use a default icon here. Maybe I'll do, what should I do? Maybe an arrow. That looks good. I think sequence number one. Okay. All right. And then you'll notice I can just add more hotspots and then Control C. Here's another one. See how cool you can create these really cool looking hotspots there. And I'll just delete that one now because I've done the flip cards as a hotspot. All right, so save that. So you can see how cool you can generate and create different types of obviously you would do something a bit better than that, but that was just an example of how I can quickly knock something up. I found that this generated Aussie style images. Yeah, it does that. Absolutely, Liz. Yeah. Elizabeth says, can I use one of my own images for this and get it? Yes, absolutely you can. So when you're adding in images, image only or image with text or whatever, and you're adding in an image, you've got options. Upload, browse local image library. That's your own local image library. Generate images via AI or browse my free image library. That'll use free stock images with no copyright. So you'll be able Elizabeth, I would like to speak to you directly. Yeah, we'll talk about. Sorry, Elizabeth. We'll come back. Feel free to email me. You'll get an email after this. So feel free to email me. All right. So very cool stuff. Any questions on any of this? In terms of, also you can add in videos, add in document viewers, add in audio. There's a really cool tool. If I highlight this bit of text, and I don't like it. I wanna edit it. I can just go AI. You get AI to edit it and go. Do I want to expand it, bullet point it, summarize it? Do I want to do text to speech or text to image? So it'll make an image for it. Um, if I do text to speech, for instance, I want to share how text to speech. Just know text to speech. If I do for a whole course, it'll double in a bit the amount of generation credits you use. And we'll get into that in a minute. Ooh, we've got 10 minutes. I've got to go into that. So if I want to create a voice, there'll be any sort of accents that you want. I'll just do Australia for now. If I convert that, you'll notice that. Oh, now my ebot's doing his gardening. Got different icons, which is really cool. I was thinking, sorry, Elizabeth says, I was thinking re-images, I would use an image of something that I want the student to learn more about. Example, I'm in the health industry, so maybe a heart. Yeah, so Elizabeth, when you generate, it's going to do a very good job of throwing in those images for you, right? In terms of referencing the output. Of course, yes, you can add your own in, and these are AI image generated images, so you might have a better version of something like a a diagram, for instance, you might have a slightly better version that you like more than the one that's generated by AI. That being said, it's really important to note that you actually get a really good output when it comes to diagrams with this particular image gen engine. There's no other engine in the world right now that can produce as good a results as this. So you'd be surprised. We actually keep track of all the AI tools, and we give you the best tool for that purpose. So we have a different tool for different things. Different tool for text, as we use for image gen, as we use for quizzes and things like that. So you'll note that we keep very heavily in track of that. Now, noting that, I wanted to specify we use the API version of all the tools. What that means is that it's your portal. It will prompt the AI, but it will be encrypted all the way to the AI. It'll feed it through the AI tool and then encrypt it back. So it's not actually feeding the model. But anything that you input is not feeding the model. It will it will be encrypted, so it's not feeding the model. All right, image gen. So hopefully everyone can hear this. I did put on share with audio, so hopefully everyone can hear this. Let me know if you can't. Then I'm going to hit play.
Recognizing emergencies and near emergencies in hospitality.
No,
Imagine you are a staff member in a bustling restaurant. It's a busy Friday evening, and your team is working hard to ensure every guest has a delightful experience. Suddenly, you
know why I can't hear it. I might have to save it and preview it so I can hear it. But for some reason, it's not showing me here. Show me. Either way, we've done a really good job of making it pause at the right moment and do things like that. Oh, you guys can hear it. I just can't hear it. Maybe because I'm sharing, it won't let me hear it. Oh well. Oh great. So it does a good job of pausing at the right moment. Maybe I should. I'll play it
recognizing
for
emergencies and near emergencies in hospitality. Imagine you are a staff member in a bustling restaurant. It's a busy Friday evening, and your team is working hard to ensure every guest has a delightful experience. Suddenly,
different voices will have different sort of. Some will be more robotic than others, but generally we can. Talking now, awesome, love it. So it will do a really good job of pausing at the right moments, and so on and so forth. Right. So good to know that you guys can hear it. I'll give a thumbs up if those who like the voice, because often AI generation or voice is horrible. You can absolutely read it out yourself, Elizabeth. Absolutely, yes. You could just add an audio file. So yeah, you can absolutely record it yourself if you choose to. That'll save you some generation credits. I would say it's worth every penny because doubling the generation credits is nothing by comparison to the cost of paying a voiceover artist to do it yourself, or you know your time's obviously worth money too, Elizabeth. So, so feel free to use your own time, but I think I would say that it's worth more than just what's used in terms of generation credits. Okay, I think I've gone through everything. Oh, also some little things, little sort of housekeeping type things. If you delete a whole section or you get it produces and it's not quite produced everything and you need to add some text, you can just have, if you have a topic with nothing in it, so if I deleted everything from this topic, I could use the AI assistant to generate the text again. And when there's nothing in the actual um, subtopic, it will actually ask if I want to generate the text for the topic. So that's something to note too. Sorry, Elizabeth, no, it won't replicate your voice. No, it won't do that. All right. Hopefully I've answered everyone's questions. Feel free to ask them as we go even now. We've got 5 more minutes. So I just want to show you through the costings, right? And also how it would connect to your LMS if you have an LMS and or show you preview links. So there's 4 different options available, right? So monthly, and then there's monthly or annual, right? I would recommend to everyone here Sorry, Liz asked, can it add accent? I have an Irish accent or a French accent. Yes, absolutely. You just choose the person that's relevant there. Just understand that it's reading English, right? So it doesn't matter which language option you choose or voice option you choose, it's going to read it in English. Anyway, yes. So let's do that. So monthly or annual. So annual gives you SCORM output. So that's something I would always recommend to jump into SCORM output. Putting it into SCORM is probably going to be easier for your LMS, for any LMS. That being said, there's also LTI connection as well. So if your LMS has LTI, you can actually connect it, and then it will use the course in real time. So as you use it. Now, if you use monthly, the only output is LTI. You're not going to get a SCORM output. So I would always suggest, so that you can download the courses as a file, to go onto annual. And then as you go up in cost, as you go up in packages, and Maximize, for instance, is another 5% cheaper for the annual. So you'll get it'll start to get even cheaper as you go the annual package as well. Oh, sorry. Can I make this? Sorry. Can you see that? That's a bit better now. This is the annual and then monthly. If you want to go monthly, you have to connect it via LTI. Okay. And if you go annual, you're looking at that. So basically, it starts out at $1,000 for the whole year. All right, that's the base package. AI image credits per month, 1750. So 1,750,000 AI generation credits each month. So it resets each month. Right. It is really hard to. It's like, how long is a piece of string for a course? But I know people are going to ask me, what sort of courses, how many can I generate for that amount? Put it this way, I just generated a course for that course I showed you um, for how to serve poultry dishes, the very first one I showed you, and that was 280,000 credits that I used. Okay, so 280,000, that's without text to audio, so just double it in a bit for text to audio. That's how many courses you'll get in the month. So if it's 250, that's like 7 or 8 courses without text to audio, 4 to 5 with text to audio in that scenario. Around about that. It really depends on how you prompt it. It depends on like what documents you add, all sorts of things. All right, the other things. So 50 course limit. So that'll give you a total of 50 courses on your platform. That's not monthly or anything like that. That's just sitting on your platform. So as you generate, if you generate multiple versions of a course, maybe you want to keep one version and delete the rest. You can delete them, and then you can save your amounts of courses. But I would recommend keeping as many as you can, because obviously then you can edit them, as you go. 10 free AI image gens per month for the base package. That's outside of what it generates at the start. And then, of course, one user, one person can create courses, and then 20 gigs of included storage. Now, if you go the storage or the AI image gen and you need more, but you want to stay on the same package, we have options where you can purchase extra generations or extra storage. Right, so you'll be able to do that as well, and it'll show it in the actual system. Right. Hopefully that answers everyone's question. For costings, right? And we will give you a free trial. You'll get 2 weeks free to do 2 courses. Right? So just have a play, see what you like, and what you don't. Feel free to provide feedback as well. Once I created a course and downloaded the course to my LMS, if I do not renew my membership, do I lose my downloaded course? Yeah, it'll depend on how much time between. We keep it for a period of time, and then yeah, you'll probably lose it after a period of time. But you'd be surprised. Just start it again. See, but yeah, eventually it will be removed. But yeah, again, you can always regenerate those images. It might come out better the next time you do it. We're updating the system very regularly, so you'll be surprised to see the output even after another 6 months. Can you go down to additional image costings, please? I don't think there is anything for that. You would be able to add extra AI image gens, but mostly I think outside of the ones that are auto-generated, you'll probably use a lot more stock. I would doubt that you'll hit the limit for AI image gens. But that's not to say you can't, right? You can't increase the size. I would probably increase the package. If you're doing more than 10 image gens a month, I would probably be using Maximize anyway. Maximize gives you double and per month and a lot more generation credits, and it's not that much more per year. I would definitely do that. Oh, sorry. Elizabeth asked, no, I'm in the course I've downloaded. So if you've downloaded as a SCORM file, it is a SCORM file. It is not anything. You've got that course. You don't need to keep it, but you need to go on annual to get that. So just to know. So you'll have the package for a year anyway. It'll be on your system for a year. That's to note. Okay, Chris asks, are the SCORM files dependent on your subscription? E.g., if I do not renew the 1 year package, will the SCORM file leave my LMS? No, you own it. It's yours. Don't worry. You keep it. It's yours. That being said, I guarantee most of our clients keep their subscription after the year because you'll be editing them regularly. That's just what happens. You need to do validation. You need to add and edit your stuff as regularly as you can. But no, Chris quite rightly mentions, but not LTI. Correct. It will not do LTI. It will not. If you do LTI and you're on monthly, if you stop your package, it'll stop the course being available. So that's something. If we purchase Maximize, can we change this up and down in the year if we realize we need a different plan? Yes. So you can edit your plans as you go. What it will do is reset your billing. So if you are on annual and you're like 2 months in and you realize you need the next step up, you can just upgrade and pay. You start from that moment for 12 months. So it'll refund you or credit you the difference, and you'll be able to charge. Can I use my course in my LMS or do I have to use eSkilled? That's a good question, Chris. No, you do not have to use eSkilled. You can use any LMS system, right? So any LMS system that has SCORM, and obviously you'll need, sorry, Chris also says the word edit. So edit, you cannot edit your system without the package. So obviously the AI Course Creator portal is what you use to edit. You cannot edit it using another software solution. It will not work. It's only within itself. But you will be able to add it to any LMS system. You'll notice there's multiple. When you go up in packages, you can do 3 LMSs via LTI even, if you choose. One more thing to note, in terms of how it gets copied, so something to take consideration of here is at the top of the course you've got a preview image, so that'll just give you a website to jump onto the course as you sorry preview of the course. There's a download SCORM button if you've got annual. When you download SCORM, you'll get options, right? So some different providers use different things. If you're using Accelerate, for instance, that you'll need simple sequencing in 2004 for 4th edition. But mostly, for most of them, I use 1.2. My one that I use generally. And then, of course, you can edit topics, edit course settings. If I want to edit this front page, I can do that. I can just hit this little cog and then edit this front page. I'll use my prompt again and we'll generate another one. Just know that this will it won't be long and this will be available. It'll just automatically generate your front cover that's different every time. So just know that. Cool. Loading. All right, and so the other thing to connect via LTI, what are your costs for using your LMS? Yeah. Oh, Elizabeth, email me after, and we'll go through the LMS. I'll even do a demo for you. Okay, so you'll be able to use our LMS if you choose, and you can use any others as needed. Oh, there's another one. Looks very similar. Use image. It's different, but it's similar. Yeah. So that's the front cover. All right, any last questions before I jump in and give you a QR code? I might just do that. Feel free to scan that and do your free trial. I'll leave that open for a little bit, and I'll be here for another 5 or so minutes if we need to. If anyone has any extra questions, feel free. Don't worry, Elizabeth. You can ask whatever questions you like. I'm here for you. Sorry about asking more. And those who want to leave, I will see you later. See you next time. Thanks, Christina. Thanks, Nicole. Hopefully everyone's happy. You got to understand that this tool, this really revolutionizes producing e-learning files. You are going to be able to produce them much quicker than you've ever done before, significantly. Like we laugh about the thought that we say 100 times faster. The reality is, it is certainly 100 times faster than if you tried to use any other tool. Sure, there's other tools out there, but if you use any sort of basic tool or previous tools that you've used before, you'll definitely be able to produce it significantly faster. I want to use that QR code on my computer, not my phone. Don't worry, Elizabeth. You'll get a link sent to you via your email in a couple of hours. So don't stress. If you want to do it now, you can always jump onto eSkilled and click on AI Course Creator and you'll be able to download it, get the trial straight away from there. Rod asks, how can I duplicate my existing course and then add the AI imagery because I haven't added the imagery just yet, and it could save a lot of time? Yes. So if you want, Rod, what you could do is just do the duplication. So hold on, sorry, I'll jump out of this for 1 second. So you can go back to the course page, right click on the course. Oh, sorry, left click on the 3 dots. That loads, sorry. And then duplicate. And that will duplicate it. Then you can just go, then from the duplicated version, you can then go to edit. Edit, and then course settings. Go through your course settings and then save. If you update something, it changes, or it gives you an option to regenerate. If not, you can always just delete the text from it and regenerate it using the new AI. So that will do it as well, Rod. And the starter price for the course is Australian dollars, not American. Are you an American? No, we're Australian dollars. So that is Australian dollars, right? There's also US dollars, Euro, British, Canadian. We've actually got lots of clients all over the world. So yeah, you can use whatever dollars you want. But these are Aussie dollars. That's the price of Aussie. Of course, you'll add GST. I think in terms of cost of time, where are we located? We're located. Our main head office is in Brisbane, in Queensland. But we also have offices in Philippines. Our support team is based in Philippines. But the servers themselves are located AWS servers in Sydney. So you should know that data is stored in Australia. Great, awesome, Elizabeth. Feel free to join us. Where are you based, in Brisbane or just in Queensland? Okay. Well, hey, you can always come to the Valley, come to the office, and I'll show you the office. Desley asks, effectively, could we create learner-specific courses of the one unit, example, duplicated created course, modify for advanced students, different cohort. Oh, that is the best use of this, Desley. Desley's asked, effectively, we could create learner-specific courses or of the one unit, e.g., duplicate and create the course to modify the you know the audience or the student or cohort or even down to the state. So you could have a different course for each state. It will be very good at that's the best thing about this. It is in terms of the best thing is about how it can really revolutionize contextualization. And I always think of the scenario, if you're an RTO or a training organization in Australia and a company that you work with asks for a particular course, you can go, yeah, I can have that course done in a week. And there you go, it's done. Like you're producing that course really quickly, create a few summative assessments in your LMS, and there you go. You got a really good course, nice looking course that they'll love. So I always, Desley said, "You're reading my mind." Yeah, yeah. It's so good for that. It really is. And I have clients that do exactly that. So, very cool. So if you're getting in on the ground level, Olivia said, I'll be down early March running education courses, so I'll pop in. Feel free. Just give us a buzz before because I might be in meetings. But yeah, just give me a buzz or a message, and I'm happy to take you through our offices here. Obviously, everyone works from home these days, but I'll happily show you our almost empty office in Brisbane, and then yeah, I can show you everything that we do, and it'll be lovely to see you in person. Sounds good. All right, guys, I might leave it there. Feel free to email me after the session. Happy to answer any questions. You'll probably be contacted by my colleagues in terms of subscriptions and so forth, but just feel free to ask any questions. If they don't know, they'll feed it through to me. I'm happy to help. Yeah, sounds good. Happy to do that, Elizabeth. No worries. All right, guys. Thank you. Have a good day.